The first season of Ninjago Dragons Rising ended some time ago. It was split into two parts. The first one dropped in the summer, while the other one we got in October. And while we were waiting for the season 2, I decided to make a video sharing my thoughts on the beginning of Ninjago new series. When I watched part 1 for the first time, believe it or not, I almost quitted Ninjago. It didn't feel like my favorite series anymore. To be honest, I didn't understand anything from it. Right after finishing watching, I forgot everything. However, things changed after part 2 was out. I really enjoyed watching it, and that was when I also rewatched part 1, and I changed my opinion. Now I truly think this is one of the best Ninjago seasons we've ever got. I know many people won't agree with me, but after watching Crystallize a year ago, it became one of my favorite seasons, and I didn't think Dragons Rising may be this good in 50%. I also couldn't accept the fact that there might be some new ninja team, and that we won't see our favorite characters anymore. But eventually the ninja are back. Well, I'm still hoping we're gonna see Garland and Harumi or Skylar. But after watching the new show, I realized I was wrong. Those new characters are really good and I like them a lot. But let's go to the beginning. First of all, I do like the new format of the series. 22-minute episodes are back, which is so good. I didn't like it at first because of my short attention span. I preferred 11 minutes, but I'm glad the old format is back. The first season of Dragons Rising contains 20 episodes, which give us 440 minutes of Ninjago. It's good because it's not rushed at all. We'll have more characters interactions and some time to breathe, because it's not fully packed with action anymore. We also have time to get to know those new characters better. Let's talk about animation. Since the beginning of the series, Ninjago was animated by two different studios, Whitebrain and Wilfilm. Wilfilm was the first group that animated the show from the pilots up to March of the Oni, and Whitebrain have been animating Ninjago since season 11 to Crystallized. They also animated Dragons Rising. I really like this animation, especially fight scenes, which became more pretty since Whitebrain started animating in the show. No hate towards Wilfilm intended though. Their animation style is also very nice, especially in the Oni trilogy, which was the best part of Ninjago. I think the best animated seasons by Whitebrain were Crystallized and Dragons Rising. Again, these fight scenes are excellent and make them even more interesting. Alright, let's move on to the plot. The biggest and the most important thing that changed in Ninjago is obviously the merge. This event connected every realm into a big one world, causing some chaos all around. I think it was a great idea because now we can learn more about those realms we heard about since the very beginning of Ninjago. We already got to know some new places like Imperium or Wilderness. The merge also kinda refreshed some locations we already knew. What's the most iconic place in Ninjago? The monastery, of course. We've been seeing it in many seasons and it always looks the same. But the merge made it look a bit different and I like it a lot. It brings some fresh air into this iconic place. Let's take a look at the new ninja team, which hasn't changed since 2015, when Nia became the Water Ninja. So the team included Kai, Nia, Jay, Cole, Zane, Lloyd, and Master Wu, who taught them everything. So many characters. However, in the beginning of Dragons Rising, we had 4 characters: Lloyd, Sora, Ernie, and Ryu, the dragon. The others joined later, including Whitefire, Zane, Nia, and Kai. Cole was there for a short period of time, and in fact, he only interacted with Nia. And we had Jay for a couple of seconds, so that doesn't count. Those who joined were more like side characters. They weren't in the main focus anymore. I mean, they were on the screen often and played an important part, but it was Lloyd, Sora, and Ernie who were in the spotlight. Well, I like those new characters, but I'm also glad that the old ninja we all love still have some stuff to do and aren't completely useless. Let's focus on one of the main characters, Ernie, who is a really good character. One of the best we've seen in years. Before the match, he was just a kid living in Ninjago City and a huge ninja fan. He was so obsessed in them and tried to memorize all their moves. Then he became a part of the team. That's such a great story. He's a very talented ninja who learned Spinjitzu by himself. That's something nobody ever did before. He doesn't have any elemental power, yet he still is a great ninja. For years in Ninjago there was a saying that you don't need any power to be a good warrior. That happens usually when one of the ninja loses the power. Well, it never worked, let's be honest. But in Dragons Rising it did. Ernie doesn't need any special gift. He does really well without any element. The second amazing character we got in the new show is obviously Sora, and she is written very well. I like her design so much, but let's focus on personality, skills, etc. etc. Her childhood was so messed up. As a young kid, she was servant in Imperium, which meant she needed to be loyal to the Empress. Since the young age, she was really passionate in technology and stuff like that, which was the reason she was abandoned by her parents and society in general. Thanks to that, she used to be very pessimistic in the beginning of the series, and we see it in the episode The Last Djinn, when she doesn't believe in victory at all, but then she realizes how grumpy and awful she sounds, which leads to her transformation and becoming more optimistic. Then in the final, she meets her parents again, and that is such a great scene, where she turns her back on her parents just like they did in the past.
You abandoned me! I thought I had to prove myself to you. But you should never have to prove your worth to your own parents!
You're young and naive, Anna. Just come back to your family.
I have a new family now. One that loves me for who I really am.
This solution is way better than if Sora just proved herself to her parents and reunited with them. Also, one of my favorite scenes with Sora is when she exposes the Empress and tells the truth about who Beatrix really is. And the last new protagonist we have is Wildfire. Many of you may think she's so annoying, but I don't agree. Yes, she is hot-headed and doesn't think at all, but she's great anyway. Let's talk a bit about her history. As a baby, she was found and raised by a dragon living in wilderness. So in the ninja team, she's more like an animal than a human. Although she's so funny, and I think that's good that we get some humor in the show. In general, the creators had a great idea for this new character. Whenever she's on the screen, everything gets a lot more interesting. What I also like about her is her relationship with Kai, and how he taught her a lot of stuff. In the beginning, she wasn't listening to him at all, thinking she's better than him, but it changed throughout the show. She ended up acting way more like a human and being a good member of the team. Let's move on to the evil side. First of all, Rapton. In the beginning, he used to work for the Empress, but it changed after some time when he realized Beatrix wasn't doing the right thing. He turned out to be just a huge adrenaline seeker, and that's interesting. He's not an evil person at all. He just likes adventures and hunting. Beatrix. Honestly, I don't like her at all. She killed her family to become an empress and just torture people. The smile on her face the moment her parents are dead is pathetic. As a ruler of Imperium, she's basically a dictator who doesn't care about others at all. All she wants is power, and that's why she's hurting innocent dragons. She even betrays those who help her. She only thinks about herself, and I really dislike her. The last character we're gonna talk about is Lord Raz, who is way better than the Empress. Him and Rapton are, in my opinion, the best villains in Dragon's Rising. Lord Raz was the one who helped Beatrix become an Empress. And when things don't go his way, he finds another person to work with. And that happened in the end of the first season when, after the Empress was defeated, he found someone else. That's probably the new villain we're gonna see in Season 2. I'm so excited to see that. To sum up, Season 1 of Dragon's Rising leaves me so excited for the future of Ninjago. When the first part came out, I wasn't a fan of it, but it changed in the second part, and now I can't wait for another season we're gonna see next year. Now I think that it was one of the best seasons in years since the Oni trilogy was released. We got many new, interesting characters, both good and evil. The story and animation are just amazing. The second part of Dragon's Rising surprised me so much, and I'm glad I didn't quit Ninjago before this came out.